One of the important concepts that is in the lesson this week is working with artboards. So artboards are basically documents in Adobe Illustrator. And instead of just creating one document per file, it allows you to create multiple different documents that are all related and might be all different sizes. So for instance, this is a character sheet for our mascot, our Roadrunner mascot. And this is what we use to create like kids coloring books with. We create animations, so that's why you see all these walk poses. And you can see that we have this big artboard that has all the pieces so that we can animate or create our own versions of the Roadrunner. And then these are actual poses that we've already created with those. So that was good to have all of these collected into one area. And as we add more, we'll keep adding more artboards. So we have one file that includes all the character stylings for our mascot. This is really good also for logos. When you create a logo, you might create a vertical version, a horizontal version. This one is pure gold version that would work on dark things. And then we have like the white versions, etc. And so we create an artboard for each, and then we give them all names so that when we go to File, Export, we can export these as PNG files, JPEG files, etc. And if we put MCC 50th logo and we delete that, what's going to happen is it's going to save it as MCC 50th logo. But if you check here on Use Artboards, it's going to export all the artboards we have here, and it's going to name each one with the artboard name at the end. So this one would be 50th anniversary logo, dark gold horizontal. This one would be MCC 50th logo, dark horizontal. And so it's good to name the artboard so that you can quickly export them, and so that all the file names are unique and you can see what's what, basically. And then in our identity system, when I was designing like the letterhead we use for all the different departments, or the business cards and business card backs and the name badges and the envelope, that's another good, and this is a big envelope, that's another good reason to use artboards, because a regular letter size sheet can be in the same file as a 3.5 by 2 or however big this name badge is, or a standard number 10 envelope with a window, so that we can create all kinds of different size documents or products in one document. And here you can see different versions of our letterhead for a variety of reasons. So it's really important that you get used to using artboards. When you're using artboards, the best thing to do is use this Artboard tool. And that's where I can click on an artboard and I can drag and move it any location I want. I can also hold Option or Alt and drag that artboard to create a copy of it. I do that a lot with logos so that I can keep the version I just worked on and then tweak it a little bit and then copy it again and tweak it a little bit more, so that I don't ever lose a version of the logo that I might want to go back to when I'm talking to a client. All right, in order to create new artboards, you can just click and drag. And the reason why mine has red is because they all have bleeds. So once you choose to add a bleed onto one of your artboards, it's going to add it onto all the artboards in that document. So just be aware of that. But if I come over here to the Properties panel, you'll also be able to see that you can name the artboard here, or you can double click and name them in your Artboard panel. You can also choose what size it'll be if you have preset sizes. Like if you know you're going to design something for the iPhone X, then you can click that and it's going to change it to that size. I'm going to undo because that's too big. It's too high resolution. So you can do that. And then if you create, let's say I wanted this to be 5" by 5". I can change the width and height here. Actually, I'm going to make that a little bit smaller. So 3 by 3. And then I can move that over. And then if I just hit new, it's going to duplicate the exact same size. So with this new one, let's say I made it a little bit taller and I hit new. Now it's going to take whatever size I just created. So with all of these, you can delete them by hitting the delete artboard, or you can just hit delete on your keyboard to get those all out of there. Another thing you should be aware of though is if you were to draw an artboard here and you're like, oh, I didn't mean to overlap it, and you drag it, whatever it touches, it's going to drag with it. So that's the only, like, that's super annoying to me. So just be aware. And if you're here and you want to make this 4 by 4, or like 5 by, we'll just do 5 by 5. See how it all of a sudden overlaps and you're like, oh, I didn't mean to have that happen. It's going to do that. So that's the only thing to be aware of. It's kind of annoying that way. So usually what I do is I'll just draw it out wherever I want it here and have it far away. Then actually type in the specific number I want and then organize it however I need to after the fact. So hopefully that helps you in working through this lesson and assignment. It doesn't go over a lot in the assignment with the artboards, but that artboard tool is really handy for keeping yourself organized for your designs and also sending to your clients. If you're going to be a designer and you send them the files of like their logos or their identity systems, they're going to be sending those off to printers, and those printers expect it to not be chaotic in here. They expect to be able to easily understand what artboards create what. So keeping it clean and organized is just going to be, it's professional level. And if you want people to pay you money for your artwork or your design work, then you need to be at that level. So, all right, hope this helps.